Hey guys, it's Sherry Vegas and welcome back to my channel. So today in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how you can make your own silicone molds. So first up, you need whatever you're going to be molding. So today I'm molding a little bowl, then just some rubbing alcohol or any higher grade alcohol for disinfectant values. Then you need whatever silicone you're going to be using. I'm just using a brand from Barnes. The silicone that I'm using is just their clear branded silicone, which I prefer over the Pinky Seal that they also sell. And then you just need a plastic container that you can put whatever item you are molding into. And then I just bought some mold release agent to make it a little bit easier for me to pop out the silicone mold after I've finished. And a pair of scissors and some tape as well. So what I did is I cut out the bottom of my plastic container and then I've replaced that with some tape just to make sure that no silicone will leak out. The reason why I cut out the bottom is it will make it easier to pop the mold out later on, but also the bottom wasn't completely even. It had a little edge to it, so to make sure that my mold came out even, I just cut the bottom of the plastic container out. Whatever container you choose to use, or you could use cookie cutters instead, just make sure that there's enough of a gap around the edge. You always want to pour your silicone on top of the item that you are molding. You never want to pour the silicone first and then push in the item that you are molding. If you do it that way, you'll actually end up getting air bubbles all through your silicone mold. So always make sure that you pour your silicone on top of the item that you are molding, so that way the air bubbles can rise to the surface. Before I start doing the pour, I just want to make sure I give everything a quick clean with the alcohol to make sure there's no oily residues or anything that could stop the silicone from setting. As I do tend to use the same jugs for resin and silicone, that way I always make sure I give everything a really good clean before using them. I'm just using my silicone mold releasing spray and giving my plastic container a little coat of that. This will just help pop out the silicone mold once it's dry. The silicone that I bought from Barnes is a 2-part mixture with even ratios. So for this size mold, I am mixing 200 ml of part A and then 200 ml of part B. You only have 6 minutes to work with this silicone, so you have to make sure you mix really fast before it sets. When mixing, you just want to make sure that both part A and B are thoroughly combined, because otherwise, if you don't do that, the silicone might not set properly. But you only have probably a minute maximum to mix it, as this has only a 6-minute working time, and if you take too long, it can start to set into the jug. When pouring your silicone, you want to make sure that you pour from a high up distance in a slow and steady stream to help reduce any air bubbles that might occur in the silicone. This brand from Barnes actually has really little amount of bubbles, and they all tend to rise to the top of the surface, so I've never had any issues with air bubbles and this silicone. I like to use the clear silicone from Barnes over their Pinky Seal silicone, which is a completely pink silicone, just because I want to see what I'm pouring over. When you do pour your silicone over the item that you're molding, you need to make sure that it is fully covered on all sides and the top. If your silicone edges are too thin, you'll have a lot of trouble and you could rip your silicone mold when you're trying to release it. If you see any big air bubbles rise to the surface, you can just get a knife and go along and pop them. You're not going to be able to get every air bubble, but remember, when you do pop out this mold, the surface will become the bottom of your mold, so it's not a big deal. So I've just left this silicone mold for about an hour, but you can do less. You'll know when your mold is ready when it's really firm to the touch. And now I'm just peeling off all of the plastic tape that I've had on the back of my container, and this will help me be able to just pop out my silicone mold from the container. With just a butter knife, I'm just running along the edges of the mold before I go and pop it out, just to make sure that I don't rip any of my silicone in the process. Now I'm just going around my container and gently pushing from either side to pop out my silicone mold. Sometimes you'll have little bits of silicone hanging over the edge of your mold, so I'm just using a little pair of nail scissors, or you could use an X-Acto knife just to cut off really carefully any of the excess of the silicone that I don't want. Now just going around the edge of my mold and just loosening it so I can get the container out. You will find with your molds that are deeper, so when you do bowls, there will be a little bit more effort to get the container out of than say if you were to mold a plate. So it just takes a little bit of time and patience, and just be really gentle because you don't want to rip your silicone mold. Thank you so much for watching this tutorial. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. If you learnt something new, make sure you give it a big thumbs up, as that really does help me out. And if you're new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe, as I post new videos every week. And you can also find me on all of my other social medias.